3,416. We managed to make sure that 53 buses are used to relocate to move all these people to their countries. Of the 53 buses, 4 buses we have made sure that they assist us in terms of repatriating those people that were here from Zimbabwe, and 49 buses are the buses that we have used to make sure that we repatriate our people that are going to Malawi. We have ensured that we had a smooth movement in terms of the people from the repatriation center. Traffic has been instrumental in terms of making sure that they assist us to direct these buses so that as and when they arrive at the port of entry, which is Beitbridge, they must not be delayed. SAPS has also been responsible for making sure that they maintain law and order and assist us in terms of the process. The Department of Health, they also played a major role, because from yesterday, what they managed to do is that they managed to make sure that they assist close to 150 people that were here. One of the incidents was an incident of a mother who have just given birth, that the Department of Health have assisted us in terms of dealing with that. We also have got colleagues from the BMA. They were monitoring the movement in terms of what is happening at the port of entry, and then they've confirmed that there is also a smooth movement. Consulates have been working hard with all of us just to make sure that they assist us in terms of making sure that they identify their nationals. All what I can say is that we're working closely as stakeholders, and the summary in terms of what we are seeing here, we are seeing teams that are working together, teams that are representing their own department in line with all the members from the JCPS cluster. We have also NGOs that have also been instrumental. They are responsible and they've been assisting all the people that have been here with food. We've got colleagues from the Gift of the Givers, we've got colleagues from the Messina community, we've got NGOs, we've got IOMs that are also responsible for dealing with the issues of kids. So food are being taken care of. Those that have got challenges in terms of kids, they are also being assisted. All the viewers, I think in line with the previous briefing that we have made, an issue that was raised with us with regard to the South African child, the South African father, the non-South African mother, I just need to outline that. One, when it comes to the issue of citizenship determination, you become a citizen on the basis of either one or both of your parents being citizens. What does that mean? What it then means is that if you are, what it means, colleagues, is that if one of the parents is a South African citizen, obviously that parent will lead the process of registration of the child. Now, the other issue is that if we have got, remember, the citizenship of a child will always follow that one of a parent. There is no child who can be a citizen of a country if none of his parents are a citizen of that country. So in this case, if both the two parents are non-South African citizen, even if you were born in South Africa, you do not become a South African citizen. You only become a South African citizen if either your mother or either your father is a South African citizen. But when you are born here, if you are a child born from two non-South African citizens, you still remain a non-South African citizen, and then you'll follow the citizenship of your parents. We've investigated the matter that was presented to us this morning at around 10. What we have noted is that, number one, there are two parents that gave birth to a child. Both the two parents are non-South African citizens, they are Zimbabweans. Now what it means is that the child that they have, who is an 18-year-old, is a non-South African citizen. Then the parents of the child must make sure that this child is assisted to acquire the documentations that are linked to the country of origin, in this case being Zimbabwe. But now, on top of that, the 18-year-old has got a child, and that child, initially when it was presented to us, it was a child of a South African citizen. We took upon that as Home Affairs and immediately investigated the matter. We ended up directly engaging the alleged father. The alleged father, we've managed to communicate with the alleged father. We tried to check as to the process that this alleged father has followed. One, I can confirm that the alleged father is a South African citizen. I cannot be able to disclose the name of the South African citizen, is a young man who said, yes, I've got a child with the Zimbabwe. I also do not want that child to go to Zimbabwe. I need the child to remain in South Africa. But I then advised that one of the issues here is that we checked first if the father has done his role in terms of making sure that he visits our offices. Confirmation that we are receiving is that the father has never been to Home Affairs. The father has never been to Home Affairs. The father took the street advices. And the street advices that were given to him was that he needs to go and look for a DNA testing, which is not the case. The child is 45 days old. And then we tried to check if it is possible for the father to avail himself to the center where we are. Because where we are, we also have got mobile units that remain a mobile office of the Department of Home Affairs, which is fully capacitated with the officials. We wanted to check if the father can avail himself, because in this case, the mother is a Zimbabwean, the father is a South African. From the information that we have received, we wanted the South African to lead the process of birth registration. But unfortunately, the father first did not take accountability and responsibility to make sure that immediately after the birth of this child, then the child is registered with us in line with the birth registration process within 30 days. What we then checked is, we also checked if it will be possible for him to come here so that we can immediately process his application and make sure that the child today is documented. But we did not win in terms of the father. The father indicated that he's far away within the area of Molechi, but what we have advised them is that they should go to the closest Home Affairs office tomorrow so that they can then be able to take them through the process of registration. I can confirm that with the information that I've received, which is the issue of the proof of birth, which is the issue of the father consenting that I am a South African, but this is my child, and also the number of days that of the child being 45 days, we will be able to register this child without having to seek for DNA testing from the father himself. What is important in terms of our requirements is that, one, the father must present himself at the hospital when the child is born. If the father has not been there, the father could still present himself to our offices and give consent to say, I am the father and I want to take responsibility for my child. Then we've advised them that because the lady is here, both the two partners must engage each other. But Home Affairs doors are open. We said if they present themselves to us, if the father, because he's the main person in this application process, if he presents himself to us, we'll make sure that they immediately get issued with a birth certificate. What will that mean is that because this child is a child who would have registered as a South African citizen, if the mother would like to live with the child, remember then the mother would now be wanting to live with a South African citizen. Then what we will also do is to assist the mother, the father, and make sure that we issue what we call an unabridged birth certificate. An unabridged birth certificate will reflect that this is a child, this is the father, and this is the mother. And that will assist us in making sure that we then process them in terms of making sure that we issue the child with a passport. Because remember, when this child, when any South African citizen, if a South African citizen is supposed to go to any other country, the first document that you need to have a passport. Then the next document that the next part that you need to have authorization in the form of a visa. So we'll make sure that immediately after the child has been registered, we advise the parents to apply for a passport for this child. If this mother lives with this child as per the agreement between themselves as partners, when this child goes to Zimbabwe, this child will be a visitor in Zimbabwe. And the expectations that we have is that when this child is taken to Zimbabwe, parents will take responsibility to make sure that this child do not overstay their stay in Zimbabwe. Because we don't encourage any South Africans to overstay their stays in other countries, as much as we also do not encourage any other foreigner to come and overstay in our country and remain in this country illegally. So the promise is that once the father presents himself with all the relevant documentations, proof of birth from the hospital, and then also consent from him saying that I'm taking responsibility, it will be an issue of few minutes. Then that child will walk out of, the parents will walk out of a Home Affairs office, the closest to where they are, with a birth certificate.
By the look of things, you are likely to issue documents to the 5-month-old. But what about the 18-year-old mother who is a Zimbabwean national, as much as you grew up this side? When they go to Zimbabwe, even after issuing the 5-month-old with documents, will the mother be permitted to come back, or is she going to be declared an undesirable person because she doesn't have papers currently as we speak and she's yet set to be repatriated?
Confirmation that we have received is that the mother to the 18-year-old is currently illegal in the country. The mother does not have any legal status to be in the Republic. The 18-year-old also does not have legal status to be in the Republic. But the process that we are going to follow is to allow the mother, in line with the request that we have received from the South African citizen, to allow the mother to run the process of birth registration through the father. And then it is after that process where then there will be further engagement in terms of seeing how best can we assist in terms of the passport. Then we'll then allow, if the two partners agree, through what we would have issued in the form of an unabridged birth certificate, that is a requirement for our port of entry. If they are in agreement, the child will go to Zimbabwe as a visitor. But the mother remains the responsibility of the Zimbabwean government to make sure that that mother is documented. The other issue is that we've got the embassies here. We have also taken this matter with the embassy for them to make sure that they deal with the issue of their citizen who we might be keeping for a day or two or for a few days while they are still trying to deal with the paperwork of the father who is saying, I requested as a father that my child must not go to Zimbabwe. But then we are saying the father also has got a responsibility of making sure that the child is documented as a South African citizen.
I just want to tag into what my colleague was saying. You said something about an unabridged certificate that you will provide to the child. But now we have someone who's undocumented at the moment. How's that going to reflect on an unabridged certificate?
The good thing is that we've got the embassy here. The embassy obviously will have to issue a temporary document to the mother that identifies who this mother is. The embassy will have to make sure, because we're working with them here, they will have to use a temporary identity document and a temporary travel document so that we can then be able to make sure that with those documents, we process the birth of the child with the inclusion of the mother's information on the child's information. They are here. They are going to verify, we've referred her to them so that they verify her and they also issue her with the document. That document then is basically going to be a document that we are going to use as a document of identification issued by the embassy here.
Just to confirm, if this 5-month-old, whose father is South African, would have crossed into Zimbabwe with the 18-year-old mother who is Zimbabwean unnoticed on your side, this matter would have been an issue of kidnapping, right?
No, it wouldn't have been an issue of kidnapping. Remember, that child is with the mother. That child is with her mother. And that child who is with the mother, the partner is also aware that the mother is here with that child and their final destination is Zimbabwe. You can't kidnap your own child. The only thing that we have got as a requirement as Home Affairs and BMA as a requirement for one to travel with the child is that, number one, there must be an unabridged birth certificate. Number two, when the child is issued with the passport, the information of the parent must also appear on the passport. But again, there must also be a consent from the other parent that I'm authorizing my partner to live with the child. Where we are not sure, we have got some of the resources that we have got to verify the information.
So we got a chance to speak to the mother. She wants to go to Zimbabwe with her child, but the father also wants to stay with the child in South Africa. And he just said that the child will be a visitor in Zimbabwe. How long is the child supposed to stay in Zimbabwe as a visitor?
Now, remember when a South African visits any country, what that country do, they will make a determination in terms of the number of days that they would like these people to be in their country. For instance, with us, if you are visiting South Africa, we give you a maximum of, we can give you 3 months, we can give you a month with all the SADC countries that are surrounding us. Then what it means is that the immigration of Zimbabwe will make a determination in line with the request that the parents are going to make. But that child will be going to Zimbabwe as a South African citizen who will be visiting Zimbabwe immediately after the father has ensured that the child is documented.
Is the 18-year-old mother going to be declared undesirable person for having been born here without documents, lived her 18 years without documents, and is now heading to Zimbabwe?
Remember, the 18-year-old is not a stateless child. Me and you have seen the mother. The 18-year-old might not have been to Zimbabwe, but the 18-year-old have got parents that are here and parents that have been living with her for 18 years in South Africa illegally. So she will still be declared. But there are processes that every person who has been declared, they can follow. We have got appeal processes that people can follow. They then request that we turn down the ban, and then as and when they are presented, those things are being attended to. What happens is that, obviously, when they go to the Zimbabwean side, if you have been declared undesirable, we've got the South African embassy in any country, and then if you have been declared undesirable, you can submit an application for an appeal. And the good thing now is that our appeal applications are also online.
Yeah. Let's talk about the numbers that you might have processed since you last gave us an update.
Now, since this morning, we've managed to make sure that we load 14 buses. Remember, I said in the morning that we're planning to load 60 buses. Yesterday, we loaded 53 buses. Now, we've loaded already 14 buses. And when I look at the numbers that we've already loaded by now, they are over 1,000. But now the dominating element is still Malawians. But we have also ensured that out of the 16 buses, we've loaded 16 buses thus far. Out of the 16 buses that we have loaded, 4 are the buses that have been brought in by the Zimbabwean embassy. We are transporting the Zimbabweans with regard to those ones, and 12 are those that have been used to transport people that are going to Malawi. So those are the numbers. But I must indicate that what we have noted since this morning is that we have got a decline in terms of the registration of the Malawians. What it means is that our officials have managed to push up until to a certain extent. Currently, what we are just waiting for is some of those that are coming from other provinces, so that we can then be able to have an update in terms of how many more people are still going to come here. So the Malawians that will try to go through the documentation, we've dealt with all the Malawians, but now the area where they are still queuing now is on the fingerprinting. Once we're done with the fingerprinting, you have seen the buses at the back, then we'll then make sure that they are loaded to their country of origin. We still have got a sizable number of Zimbabweans. Teams are busy now processing the Zimbabweans through the normal process of fingerprinting and the information verification. Police also are now busy with trying to deal with the issues of the morphotage, just to check if there are some criminal acts. But I must also indicate that our colleagues from the police, since the last briefing, they've managed to pick up one case. It's a case of murder that they've managed to pick it up. Now they managed to make sure that that suspect is put aside. They are dealing with that. That is one of the discoveries that was made immediately after the first briefing. The second thing that we also need to indicate is what is coming from the Department of Health. We've been briefed that from the Department of Health that there are buses that are moving from Cape Town. Apparently what they've picked up is that these people have been picked up to be having diarrhea. And then we are monitoring those buses as and when they are on their way to check as to if there is any other thing that still needs immigration services, so that we can then be able to assist them in terms of whatever is required while they are still on their way, while our colleagues from the Department of Health deals with the health-related issues and the diarrhea story. Yeah. That is what we've just picked up from health. From BMA side, I think the information that we have received is that everything is flowing at a port of entry. We don't have issues. Buses are being cleared. Embassies are complying in terms of their passport list, and there is an easy flow. And traffic is continuously assisting in terms of making sure that they escort these buses so that they could not have multiple stops.
Just on the side of the people that are coming from the buses from Cape Town, if they have diarrhea, do they still come to the center? How are you dealing with that? How will you deal with that?
Now, in terms of those people that, remember in the morning, and even now, health confirmed that they did their work within the center. They did not pick up anything. They did not pick up anything. Now, what we have picked up is that these buses that are coming from Cape Town, obviously, what we are going to do, we're going to make sure that they are processed on their way here, so that they cannot be coming to the center. Remember, those are the buses that are earmarked for Zimbabwe. What it means is that they were supposed to be taking those people to Zimbabwe. What we are going to do, remember, there are buses that as and when they are coming here, you might find that our officials in provinces have processed those buses. So we'll check if those buses are in compliance in terms of them having to cross. Health will also do their part, but BMA will also deal with some of the issues that are linked to their space. Rena here at the center, if there are documentations that we need to assist them with, we'll assist them with so that there could be that easy flow without them having to be here.
I'll come back to the issue of the arrest that you made of the man who was wanted for murder. But I just want to have an idea or understanding in terms of the number of buses, whether you have the number of buses that are coming mainly from KwaZulu-Natal as well as the Western Cape, because we understand that more people continue to go to those areas hoping to be transported to this part of the land.
Inland, we have got a senior manager who is coordinating everything that is happening in provinces. We've got provincial managers that are on the floor. Provincial managers have taken charge of their provinces. They are trying to interact with all the JCPS cluster members. They are sitting at the prof joints with the main aim of getting the information of where some of these people are gathering. The information that we have got now is of 10 buses that are now transporting Zimbabweans coming from Cape Town. In other areas, our officials, together with the embassies, are still processing. But we still have got patch and patches of some of the foreigners that are saying we still need to be taken through out of the country. We still need to be taken through the center on a daily basis. There is monitoring that is being done in all the provinces by the provincial heads together with their team. But what we have got now, which is confirmed, is information of the 10 buses that are coming from Cape Town.
This man or woman that you say you arrested here for murder, they were being sought for. What are the details around it? Do you know where the incident happened?
Now, remember, that part is a part that SAPS will give it to you offline. Because remember, the work of the security work and the work of police, at times, we might not just divulge it. But SAPS are here. They've got the information. What is important to us when we are reporting is that there is this case. But we still have to respect those people that have committed those acts by making sure that we don't just throw their information to public up until it is confirmed and up until they're presented in court.
What is the nationality of the suspect?
We will also, SAPS will also assist in terms of the nationality. But all what I can confirm to you is that it's a foreign national.
Final one from my side. Just before we started with this media briefing, I saw your colleagues from SAPS and BMA running.
This story
to a
is
car.
moving very
Fast,
and the latest updates are bringing
Are you
even
able
more
to fill
attention
us
to what
in?
is
What was
happening in South
there? Because we were
Africa.
calling an ambulance.
The government has finally
Now,
broken its
the
silence on
colleagues are
growing
still checking
concerns
as to what
around
exactly
immigration
is
and law
happening there.
enforcement.
And then as and when
Officials
they
say
pick
the
up
country
what
will
is happening
continue
there,
to enforce
then
its
they will then
immigration
be able
laws
to provide the
while
media
also
with that
following the
information.
Constitution
Perhaps
and
clarity
respecting
in
legal
terms of the
rights.
case that we spoke
That
about. I just
statement
want
has
to find
become
out,
one of the
is
biggest
the
talking
murder
points
was
because
the
many
murder
people
in
have
South
been waiting
Africa,
to
was
hear
South
the
African,
government's
or
official
have you
position. But that is only one part of today's story. Another unexpected development has added even more attention. Andrea Johnson of IDAC has become the focus after major developments linked to the Madlanga Commission. During the commission proceedings, questions were raised about earlier statements she had made. She later clarified her position and apologized for comments that were made without reviewing all the relevant documents.
That moment changed the direction of the hearing and created fresh questions about how important decisions were handled. Stay with me because the story gets even more interesting. If you enjoy simple and accurate political updates like this, please take 1 second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring you more updates as they happen. Now, while many viewers were focused on immigration, the Madlanga Commission continued asking detailed questions. The Commission wants to understand exactly what happened, who made certain decisions, and whether proper procedures were followed. The goal is to establish the facts through evidence and testimony. At the same time, the Office of the IDAC Oversight Judge confirmed that it had received complaints involving Andrea Johnson. However, officials also made it clear that receiving a complaint does not mean anyone has been found responsible for wrongdoing. The matter is still going through the proper process. That is an important point because investigations are meant to examine the facts before any conclusions are reached. So now there are two major stories unfolding at once. One is about immigration policy and how the government plans to handle it going forward. The other is about accountability and transparency inside important public institutions. Both stories have attracted national attention because they deal with issues that affect many South Africans. As more information comes out from the Commission, there could be more questions, more explanations, and possibly more developments. For now, the hearings continue, and many people are watching closely to see what comes next. Now, let us continue the full story because this is where things become even more interesting. As the hearings continued, every new answer seemed to lead to another important question. The Commission carefully examined documents, listened to testimony, and asked witnesses to explain how certain decisions were made. The focus was not only on what happened, but also on whether the correct procedures were followed from the beginning. That is why many people have been paying close attention to every session of the Commission. The government has also repeated that it wants public institutions to remain strong and trusted. Officials say the law must be applied fairly and that every investigation should follow due process. At the same time, they have encouraged everyone to allow the legal process to continue without jumping to conclusions before all the evidence has been reviewed. That message has become very important because many South Africans want answers, but they also want those answers to come through a fair process. Now let us go back to the issue of foreign nationals. The government says immigration laws will continue to be enforced. It also says people who are legally living and working in the country have rights that must be respected, while those who do not meet the legal requirements may face action under existing immigration laws. Officials insist that every step must be taken according to the Constitution. This means the government is trying to balance two important responsibilities at the same time. On one side, it wants to strengthen law enforcement. On the other side, it says every action must remain within the law. That balance is one of the biggest discussions taking place across the country. Now here comes another important part. The Madlanga Commission has continued gathering information from different witnesses. Every witness brings a different perspective, and together their testimony helps the Commission build a clearer picture of the events under investigation. Sometimes a witness confirms earlier evidence, sometimes new details emerge. And sometimes, previous statements are corrected after more information becomes available. That is exactly why commissions like this take time. Their purpose is not to rush to conclusions, but to carefully examine every available fact. If you have been enjoying this update so far, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you clear political updates in simple English every day. Now, another point that has caught many people's attention is the importance of public confidence. Many citizens want to know that institutions responsible for fighting corruption, protecting the law, and serving the public are operating openly and fairly. That is why these hearings are being followed so closely. People are waiting to see what recommendations may come after the Commission completes its work. Some observers believe the final report could include recommendations on improving accountability and strengthening oversight. However, everyone will have to wait until the Commission officially completes its work before knowing its conclusions. That is another reason the story is still developing. Nothing has reached its final stage yet. More witnesses may still appear, more evidence may still be presented, and more official statements may still be released. At the same time, the immigration debate remains active. Communities continue looking for clear solutions that support public safety, economic growth, and respect for the law. Many South Africans hope future decisions will bring stability while ensuring that legal processes are followed fairly. So, these are not two separate stories anymore. They are becoming part of a much bigger conversation about governance, accountability, public trust, and the future direction of the country. One thing is certain, the coming days could be very important. Every official update may provide another piece of the puzzle. And until the Commission finishes its work and the government releases further information, many important questions will remain unanswered. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any important political update. We will continue following every official development and bring it to you in simple English that everyone can understand.